Fist of the North Star was Mad Max.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool?
Everyone's trying to get animals to talk.
Dude, it makes me want to smoke weed out of an apple so bad. It's so sick.
Dylan, grab the apple, please.
That all of these ancient fish had back in the days.
Quit jacking around and unbox that. Quit jacking around and unbox that raspberry pie, you lazy bastard.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. I'm glad that worked out better than I thought it would. I forgot the time that went between when I built that and when I was using it was too long.
We're live.
We're live. Everybody, welcome to the Curiosity Engine Season 3. If you pause right now and go into the description, you can find all of the things that we'll be speaking about today, or at least some of the things we'll be speaking about today, such as The Hunt for Zero Point, which is the book by Nick Cook that, Neon, you turned us on to this one. Do you want to get us started talking about what you love about this or what's going on with this book?
Oh my God, I do, and I want to grab it's right here.
Personal copy.
Yeah.
My physical copy of the book.
Nice.
Now, this is a UK edition because the author, Nick Cook, from the UK originally. And what really turned me on to this is I heard about this book on a podcast probably the better part of 10 years ago. And what was so interesting about it is that the author was an absolute verifiable fucking G, right? Like OG guy. This is not a fringe scientist. It is not a someone who's just kind of rattling off ideas. The author Nick Cook wrote for Jane's Defense, which for the uninitiated, Jane's Defense is the absolute fucking de facto source of information for both the public and much of the military sector about military combat vehicles. And what's so cool is this publication started in like the mid 19th century. I am butchering this. I am not getting it right, but it was like Jane's Catalog of Fighting Ships, right? And it was like a catalog and a index of all these sea vessels that were used at war. Which countries had them? What was the width? What was the length? How many cannons did they have? An exhaustive resource of information about military craft. And this publication has been so well respected, so understood as the go-to source for the better part of actually 2 centuries, which is crazy.
Wow.
Nick Cook, the author, was their aviation editor.
Love it. Love it.
So saw every military craft come and go for a long time and was connected to the network of humans that had seen it from the time there were aircrafts, basically.
This is it. Nick Cook is an absolute, you couldn't ask for a better individual to specifically investigate this topic because of his access to the correct individuals, because of his doggedness in terms of his investigative skills, as well as his clear, unabashed passion and enthusiasm for the topic. Dude wants to know.
Yeah.
Right? And for him, he's like, okay, whatever. Anti-gravity, time travel. I don't kind of really care. I just want to get to the truth.
Yeah.
He
And
was
that's-
very well positioned to lay out the skeptic relief case early on in the book, because he was like, listen, I've seen a few of these things, and what we're starting with here is when one of these crazy things crashed out in the desert. And he very carefully he puts his craziest evidence last. So he's knocking down the easy stuff as he kind of goes, and it's the book starts and he's out at some experimental aircraft thing. So like, what was it? The area, the test, there was some stat late in the book where it was like the area of the test range was like bigger than some very large country that I thought was very large. And I was like, that just kind of gives people an understanding of what we're doing here. We're taking areas of land the size bigger than your country, and we're blocking it off from the public, and we're flying crazy shit out there. And sometimes people sneak out there and get glimpses of stuff, and they shouldn't really, but it is this. We're not like a China where it's the state runs everything. It is actually a market where the government can say, here's my dollar. Who wants my dollar for more bombs or aircraft or whatever we've got, right? But it's an actual market. So like the Janes thing, I was unaware of the role that would play, where you're just going to have to know what the competitor's doing. And if you're Boeing and Lockheed, you want to kind of, this is your refrigerator for like your wins, more or less. And so I think your point is really well made, that this human is in an exquisite position to see how the mechanizations of this whole thing work, how secrets come into it and get bird hands, how secrets come into it and then they get kind of moved around the thing. And they start with the Philadelphia experiment, like how that was a disinformation campaign, or they turned it into a disinformation campaign. Who had heard of the Philadelphia experiment before this thing? Right on, Peter. So this is like, yeah. So
Esoteric nerds.
dude, this is why we have
catch us
to
up
be
to speed.
podcasting this.
Yes, exactly. You got to get it out.
Okay, so
Hit it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the B-2 bomber, which went out of commission in the 90s. So as I was in high school, this thing was going out of commission. Exactly. Right. And they have other versions of it, but the reason why they call it B2 probably is because of the Byfield-Brown effect. And what this is out of all of these technologies, if you put like 1,000,000 volts positive on the front of the wing and 1,000,000 volts negative on the back of the wing, you essentially cup space around you. So you're flying, and most aircraft have to go through the trouble of swimming through the actual air, but you don't, because you don't have a wing that's in touch with the air. You have like an electrical field that's in touch with the air. So it takes gas, but like a significantly less amount of gas. So these B-2s have been flying with this effect since the 90s.
Right. And so this is one of the very interesting things about the hunt for 0 Point, right? Is that Nick Cook digs into this technology so deeply. And you're exactly right that it starts with this Townsend Brown effect, right? So this physicist, inventor, Brown, he's working in the first half of the 20th century. He effectively believes that he has stumbled on to, and when I say stumbled, I mean very deliberately, scientifically, and methodically arrived at a theory of electrogravitics, right? We understand through another 70 years of physics and research that what he was really more or less observing was ionized wind, right? So explainable phenomena. But what we don't hear a lot about is the other part of his experiment where, and Red Paul, you're exactly right about that the electrification, right? Because his principles of saying, well, if we can work with the physics of high energy, of electromagnetics, we could, in theory, create more or less something akin to lift. And so that same technology is on that B2, right, which we have developed since the 50s. And the idea there is that it's not that the B2 has anti-gravity properties, but it's that, exactly to your point, the leading edge being positively ionized and the rear edge being negatively ionized, not just ionized, but ionized at insanely high voltages.
Most aircraft are trying to shed electricity. It's a
Yeah.
problem. You've got spinning motors inside, and it's like a sock. It's like rubbing socks together on a cold day. Eventually, you're going to touch your TV, and pow! You're going to get like blasted out of your chair. Ditto for when helicopters land. You ever see like the kind of ropes that there's some guy out there with like he's like in Kevlar, and he's like throws this thing over the thing because if you touch the helicopter, it's got those rotors produce static electricity, and it makes the helicopter lethal until it has to be correctly grounded where that electricity goes out. The Hindenburg exploded for this very reason. They
was
didn't
gonna
ground
say,
it properly.
I envision the Hindenburg in this with the ropes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
they had to. If they don't, when those turbines are turning, just when those turbines are turning, not okay. So now you've got the B2, which is like once we get up there, let's put like 1,000,000 volts. And it's like, wait a minute, where's this going? Like how are they getting rid of this? Like that's where all the innovation probably went around. Like so these things would glow at night. They would pulse, and they were essentially right on the edge of a plasma. So when they were first seen in the skies over these test areas, they would look like they were glowing and shit. So very confusing with the UFO kind of thing.
And so that's because you're dealing with, in that scenario, electrohydrodynamics, right? In which you are dealing with the flow of electrons and like essentially base atomic structures flowing over the surface of your aircraft. And so what happens is that you essentially, when you're charging, because you can just charge them with a little bit of voltage, no effect. You charge them with 1,000,000 volts, and suddenly your aircraft is encased in a sheath of highly ionized plasma. So when a radar signal hits that,
Absorbed.
that shit does not bounce back to its source. It just gets absorbed in the plasma. It also affects your ability to achieve lift. The engines on the B2 are like surprisingly underpowered.
There's nothing there.
That vehicle.
I was visiting a friend in Los Angeles in 2019 before the pandemic, and we went to the Science Museum, and at the Science Museum they had the Discovery shuttle.
No.
Dude, and they were like, "Don't touch the shuttle." It was like, right. And we were like touching this shuttle. Like it was like that thing's been in space. That's crazy. But anyway, in the parking lot they had a B2, and I swear to God, my lawnmower has more heft to it than this body of a B2 from the 90s. I was like, no fucking way. Like I didn't realize that when I saw it in 2019. I didn't realize what they were doing. But like, yeah, it was like. They got refueled. They can launch them from, like I remember in the last Iraq conflict, they would launch them from Whitman Air Force Base, Love. That's where close by where we lived in Kansas City at the time. And they would go 36 hours around the planet and then land. And they got refueled a couple times. But there's like almost no space for fuel in there, and the engines are teeny tiny. And it's like, and then you just strap some dude inside of what essentially looks like a box you would like put like a freezer from the 50s. It's just like it's nothing.
Navigator,
It's like an
that
Instapot.
movie from the 80s, but
dude, I learned some shit about Flight of the Navigator this afternoon. Can I lay it down on you?
Yes.
I wish you would.
Please. Brace yourself, Sarah. Brace yourself. Okay. So, fucking Flight of the Navigator is always touted as a Disney film, right? Disney stepped in after the parent company that made it went bankrupt, and they were kind of connected to it, but Disney never bought into it before production. They bought it afterwards, and it became a Disney thing. And they invested late, and they got their way and had to change a bunch of stuff. But the original plan, the original story that they wanted to shoot for Flight of the Navigator goes like this: there's a fucking 8-year-old kid out here, a 10-year-old kid out here in these streets, and he's got some kind of psi ability, and so the government grabs him. And they put some kind of crazy thing on here, and they map his brain. And out of the structure of his brain, they pull the technology to make the device that turns into it's like a weapon thing. And they're like flying around and like causing World War III with this. And they extracted it from a kid's brain. And this shit was coming out in 86. Flight of the Navigator.
That's the coolest spin on that narrative. Okay, I love that film as a kid. I loved it. Also, every 4th of July, I think about it. I think about the scene where they're like shooting off the fireworks and the roof.
Yeah.
That like film is like embedded in my psyche. Now that I know that it came from the child, Even
Yeah.
better.
Okay, and real quick, I'm about to blow your mind. You are ill prepared for this information. Talking about the brain, the psi abilities, mapping the brain. So I recently went to my 25-year high school reunion.
Yes, yes.
It was so worth it. Without getting into it, the crux of the story is that I reconnected with one of my former classmates, the valedictorian, who, without mentioning his name, I will just tell you, and I didn't understand this until I was like smoking a J with him behind an auto shop in East Syracuse, New York.
Nice.
He is the preeminent neurospinal surgeon in the United States. And he was one of 2 surgeons applying the neural lace on human brains for Elon's neural.
Oh,
Nice.
damn.
That is awesome.
Whoa.
He was like, and a lot of sheep.
That's crazy.
Oh,
That's
man.
freaking cool. Dude.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Shit. That's
Bro.
Anyway, that was my aside that I was just like, oh, I am connected to this interesting hinge moment in the human species
Yeah.
in a really bizarrely close way where I was like, dude, that sounds fucking nuts. Can I smoke you out?
Yeah.
I'm holding heavy, man. Like, let's do this.
This is
I was
awesome.
thinking of like free
This is
market
truly
science.
awesome.
Free market science. Ooh, which is the name of my new jazz trio. I don't know if any of
Market
you have heard
science.
us. Mostly Costco. Deli section.
Ask the
Yeah.
aisle so that I could find you after I like snack my way there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, you were just saying,
Free market science.
oh, free market science.
Just harkening to this idea of like actually we do have competition and it like has evolved so rapidly since the B-2 bomber to include such things as like Elon Musk has a company where they're like neural netting shit into sheep and then humans.
That's what I was just saying. Neuralink.
That's
My,
what-
oh,
that's-
yeah,
that's-
yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm referencing.
Got
is
it.
Why? Yeah, that's why. 10-4. 10-4. Yep.
10-4.
Dude, there is a. It's such a everybody. Have you seen the video with the chimp and Pong? Have you guys seen that one in a while?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Incredible.
Dude, it's got you've got a chimp and it's getting a grape out of a straw when it moves the joystick in order to make it has like a yellow circle and then it has to move the orange circle to go catch up with it. And when it catches up with it, oh, another grape. So it's getting rewarded. And then they have this little cable that shows how the thing it's using is plugged into what's controlling it. So it's controlling it with the controller and its brain is just getting synced up with it. Then this little hand comes on and they unconnect it. And it thinks it's doing it, but it's just its brain that's doing it. It's interpreting the neural information and then turning it into action.
Oh, wow.
And dude, so here's the key. We as a species have been behind the one channel of literacy for so long. Like you have to get literate and then you're completely limited by the language that you have, to be able to like express.
That's right.
And this is the language of the 17th and 18th centuries, right? The Enlightenment.
Language is not policed.
Scientific
It is
revolution.
like, okay, so we were going to talk about, you guys hadn't heard of bird hands. You haven't heard of bird hands?
Please illuminate.
It's like a 6-7 thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
sounds
like a 6-7 thing.
6-7.
Okay. It's like a 6-7 thing, but like, okay, so the way you've heard of upspeak, like, oh my God, did you hear about this? Like when people speak upspeak at the end of the sentences, now everybody can make fun of upspeak. But when upspeak first hit the grid, it was contagious like a motherless goat. Like
Yes.
people were just,
Oh.
everybody, it catches whole generations off guard, and they're all upspeaking all the time, and like asking permission in every sentence to like say what they're saying. And it's like
That's
you want to,
fun.
dude. Now you can throw it on as a thing, but dude, when it came out, it was like a sticky verbal virus.
Sure.
And,
Yes.
and people were like, "What the junk monkeys?" You seen this movie? What's the movie, Love, about the end of the world? In a World. That's the name of the movie, right?
Oh, right,
In
right.
a word.
Yeah.
In a word.
In
In a word with Lake Bell. In a
Lake Bell
word.
Lake Bell sets out to cure baby voice and upspeak from girls in Hollywood.
wonderful
She's like
movie.
losing her fucking mind. She's like, stop talking like a baby. She's like, I can't stop it. You know, it's like and so she goes on this rampage in the movie to like try to stop it or whatever. And then anyway, that was another verbal tick that kicked in. Now people
It's a great
do
movie.
it ironically. The other one is right, like right at the end of a sentence. Dude, I heard the president of the United States turn to like a foreign dignitary and go, right? You know, and like, and I was like, it was like, it's the same right, but it was like, it started off as a fucking verbal tick from somebody who just caught it from someone else online. And then we have all of these brains hooked up to the willy-nilly, no orchestration to
Yeah.
these systems. And so we get these crazy effects. Bird hands is when you're making a point. Wait, you'll see it everywhere. It's a verbal, it's a mnemonic tick that is showing up everywhere.
Well, I have
This is the
seen
point
that.
I'm trying to make. This is the
Okay,
point.
yeah.
I'm making the point. I'm making the point. I'm making the point. Also, there's this rash of people. You gotta respect the hologram, man. Respect the screen. You got the 1080p here. It's like a nice space. People are like all up in here, like, oh, I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna attack you. Ah, you know, it's like, dude, it's like a fire, man. Take a breath, crack a beer, whatever, you know.
Respect the 1080p.
This is so
Protect-
interesting because I feel like I remember seeing a study once in which it talked about folks who were either by trauma or birth mute, right?
Oh,
And what was interesting about it is they were tracking a number of athletes who were mute. And when they won like a race, a sprint, they did the mouth
Yeah.
open movement, right? Because like, right, it's that inbuilt sense, right? Where like, even if I am incapable of making the sound, I understand that this is the energy. This is what's coming up. It's somatic. You're right. It's coming up and out. And I'm going to bare my teeth and open my mouth and make myself large,
Yeah, yeah.
like a victorious animal, right?
ah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's so interesting that it crosses even those boundaries, right? Of,
Yeah.
like, of vocalizing into just a energetic expression, I guess, maybe.
yeah. And then morphogenic field, we are pulling from a linguistic shared field a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. Like the Overton, if there's an Overton window, where's it stored? It's not stored in a server somewhere. It's stored in the hearts and minds of people who are communicating right now, right? Like the stories that we've told ourselves move the edges of this around, like, you know.
Yeah, and we mimic one another. That's where a lot of it is. You actually do it to feel what the same thing that you're seeing off other people. That's kind of the
Yes.
I think that psychic
It's not
abilities
enough
go
of a
up.
sense for
the-
most people.
The psychic abilities, the latent psychic abilities of people, the telepathy tapes abilities of people go up when we're online, because there's a evolutionary advantage and also just like a push to be with others even if they're not in the same room as you're in, right? So like you turn up your sensitivity to what others are doing, you turn up your ability to project your you know, through the medium, and also just energetically, like we have all been in the same room together at one time or another, right? And so it's like our shared space memory is like enhanced by that in a way.
Interesting. Well, and so then my question, and I'm going to aim this squarely at you, Lakshmi, is when you are journeying, what is your sense of connection to others who are on this physical plane?
I'm pretty much not aware of anybody who's on this physical plane unless, see, I just did bird band. Unless,
I love it. I love this continuity. This is great.
yeah.
unless I'm doing a middle world journey where I'm going out to see the spiritual form of somebody who's physically here. But
Okay.
gosh, for a year and a half, I've been doing all upper realm journeys in preparation for the book. I don't bump into anyone.
How
I don't bump
interesting.
into anyone.
It's kind of an underutilized resource what you're given in the book. It's a parking lot with few attendees.
I mean, I can intentionally, like, let's say, Lisette, I wanted to do a soul retrieval journey for you because we talked about it last time we were on the phone.
Yeah.
I would do Hoot, my soul retrieval ally. We'd fly to whatever part was on an island waiting for you. We'd retrieve that part, bring it back to you, blow it into your crown chakra and your heart and your being to make sure it integrated. So I get to interact with you that way. But if I'm just going on a journey, it's kind of like the one you're going to take when you win this application, McMurdo, you know? It's going to be a solo journey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that is the goal.
I have some thoughts of this, Neon.
Yeah.
I think what it is because like when you listen to a shamanic drum beat, like the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, the core shamanic program, 4 to 7 cycles per second, doom 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 doom.
Right.
If you don't have any training at all and you're not really paying attention, you'll just fall asleep. It's like you're a bobber and your consciousness, your waking consciousness is a bobber up here. And then when you hit the drum beat, it kind of pulls you down close to falling asleep. And without training, you're just going to go to sleep.
What if analogy?
That's great. Yeah.
So the trick of shamanic journeying is so simple in the human experience because everybody has between 5 and 8 dreams a night, not casual ones. Like when you take anybody off the street, throw them in a dream study, and what they do is they hook up a little sensor and a little camera in front of you, and you sleep in a controlled place. And then when you get into REM, they give you like 1 minute of REM, and then they go, wake them up. And then they wake up and say, what do you see? Every single person is having vivid, contextual, I'm in another reality, I got another headset on kind of dreams, right?
Very rich experience, yeah.
The crazy, if you wrote down what they just told you and they could remember it for any length of time, the shit that came out of them would be the most random MTV commercial of reality you've ever fucking seen. It's just their spaghetti coming out of their subconscious. Every single one of us, every night. Yeah. Okay, so shamanic journeying is the bobbers going down and you get used to the feeling. And if it's an asymptote of sleep, you asymptotically approach sleep. So you get very good at being somatic, to your term, Lisette, accessing your body, accessing your consciousness at a state right before you fall asleep. So it really does feel like a dream. So when I'm doing, like Lakshmi, you brought up the correct term, the middle world journey term. When I'm doing middle world journeys, and I've just been fascinated by that dynamic since I learned how to do this when I was fucking 30 more years ago when I was 18. But like, there is a physical representation, and then there is a dream representation. And if those are lined up, everything's cool. Like if you have a dream of a place and it looks just like the place looks normally and it's like kind of happy, that's like really, really, really good. But what usually happens is you can go to the place and then you can go to the dream place and then you can see all the extra stuff that's templated over your experience of it. So here, the way I like to explain to people is it's just like a dream. Dreams are malleable and they are flexible and you can change them in the moment. When you wake up to your dreaming, you can literally do anything that you would ever want to do, like no trouble. And so the degree to which it affects this world is the degree to which the other person experiencing this world agrees with your dream. In a way.
Okay,
So if I go to a middle world place and I pray or I journey for a place and I clean it all up, there is the people who would notice it would be the people who were most intimately connected to the dream that I cleaned up. Like, let's just trash metaphor. I go and I journey to a place and it's like there's trash on the ground and I just pick up the trash. Obvious Boy Scout shit. Like, clearly that's not where the trash goes. It goes in the trash bin. Like, just like that. You can transform a neighborhood, by the way, just by doing that. Like, you can you can let me see if I can I changed all these settings in here. There is if you go into a neighborhood right now, anywhere next to where you live, and it has garbage, and you just bring a trash bag, you can just go around and put the trash in the trash bag and look at how it feels. Just physical trash in our world. And the concept being is that the world is much more of a dream than we give it credit for. It's already a dream, and you're already dreaming it. you're just paying attention to this consensus reality part, but you're not paying attention to everything in the margins part, which is where your ghosts or your UFOs or whatever it would be. Your liminal experiences.
I'm thinking about who golly, what is the name of the and our video is good again. What is the name of that? It's the indigenous population in Australia who works in the concept of dream time.
The Aboriginals?
Well, it's a specific group, right? And so there's this author, Tyson Yunkaporta. And Tyson Yunkaporta, he has this great book called Sand Talk. And essentially he's getting into the idea of dreaming as part of, exactly like you're saying, dreaming as part of reality and informing reality and perhaps being the more important source of information. And this, right, God, man, I can't remember their name, but it's
the Ugambe.
Oh,
maybe?
wait, again with it?
Ugambe?
That may very well be it, yeah. But yeah, essentially, like, their culture is built on collective dreaming.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they get up in the morning and they're like, all right, what did everyone dream? And like, out of that, group, 9 people are like, no shit, you saw the crane too?
Yeah,
okay,
we're in the same basic place.
Big bird,
Today we should go to the water.
Right. Oh yeah, we all saw the lake, so we should probably go there, see what's popping, right?
Right.
I think
totally advantageous from an evolutionary Darwinistic perspective.
Right.
You've got an environment that has a layer of information, and oh, surprise, you can access it. Information about where food is, about where safety is, about where threats are. Anybody who has any inkling of how to get in touch with that information essentially survived. Like
right.
This is strength in numbers, collective brain.
Yeah. Collective unconscious and collective conscious, for that matter.
When I was studying emotional intelligence for a number of years, and I was teaching it in school, Daniel Goldman wrote Emotional Intelligence, or EQ, and then he wrote this other one called Social Intelligence. And emotional intelligence was an individual and their systems, and social intelligence was how this one fact started the book. 51% of our nervous system never gets activated unless we feel that we're in front of somebody.
Totally makes sense.
Mm.
Looking at being with them. And so when that part of ourselves is activated, it's like more than half of who we are is alive. You literally can't know yourself except through the eyes of another.
Wow.
Yeah. And he gets into micro expressions, and he gets into the synchronization and the science of the synchronization of the nervous systems and such. But the point being that there's so many different things in there. There was an original point I was going to make, and I'm forgetting now, and I'll make this other one. So he was studying chimpanzees in the lab, and or not him, but somebody was studying chimpanzees in the lab, and they had this single neuron connected inside the chimpanzee's brain, one neuron, and it had a little light on it, and they were studying something, and they left it on over the lunch, and one of the lab techs comes in and is eating an ice cream cone, and the chimpanzee sees it, and ding, the thing goes on, but only when the lab technician eats. And so the lab technician could turn it on by the chimpanzee seeing them do it, meaning what ends up happening is even a chimpanzee's brain, but ours especially, has a simulation layer where we literally have the exact same experience as the other person just by visually experiencing it. We are literally wired to download each other's experience in fast, rapid.
Okay, which brings me to the mysterious elements of unidentified flying objects and their kin.
Yeah.
And this idea of the observer being critical to the phenomenon. Is this not linked?
I think
Yes, it is linked.
That is all.
Wait, say more. Say more.
That's all I wanted to say. Yes, it is linked.
Okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. And what's interesting is, like, when you think about the quantum nature of the universe, right? That any given particle or any given unit of mass is both a wave and particle but it depends on how you are observing it. Oh golly, and
its final state is determined by the state of the observer, on or off.
That's exactly it.
It has no reality outside of the observer effect, and
Yes.
so. Dude, this brings me to the point I didn't get a chance to land last time, so I'm just gonna butt it in here right in the middle of all of this. But the you know, as I've butted all this in, I want to just finish. I did remember the thing I was gonna think of. Okay, so all human brains have these mirror neurons. When you get a group of like 14 of us on the savannah, if one person at one side of the group has a fear response, the entire group will turn like a school of fish towards what the person's afraid of and act like one thing. This nervous system connection of ours is adaptational and allows us to fight as a group, essentially, or run as a group, or do things as like an active school of fish. And it has not been turned off. Yeah, no one's turned it off. That's why it feels good to be at a concert where everything is, you know, or a stadium or a sports event. It's the shared nervous system experience of like the blending in the crowd and like acting like a unit with other people.
Yeah, and we've learned that trees do the same thing now. Now we have this whole scientific body of work that is identified that trees function exactly the same way, transmit their chemicals to one another. One of them is being attacked instantly. The whole forest surrounding them knows. They are transmitting different nutrients to one another via the mycelium, through their roots, through the earth. They're completely talking to one another as a system.
Yeah.
Like that scene in Avatar when they can see the connections between the trees and the bioluminescent signals. Like it's like one big biosphere. That's us too. So we're a part of that. Yeah.
Well, and to that point, when you think about the evidence that we have that atomic structures very much look like the structure of vascular structure,
very much
of mycelial structure, of human.
It's like one neuron technology here. And it's being used in a brain over here and in a plant over here.
Right. And then when you scale it up to the size of the universe, when you have that we've only discovered in the last 15, 20 years, these galactic filaments, right? These tubes of galaxies that move through our universe that strikingly resemble a tree's branches, the human vascular system, mycelial network underground. Like all of those other things are intercommunicative.
So
why would we presume that another structure with the exact same fucking shape,
dude,
wouldn't have a similar intercommunication?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Was that from the deck?
Nice.
Wait, did you hit that ding sound?
I heard it. That was just my phone.
Perfect timing.
Dude, Neon.
My mom texted me.
Nice. She can join. The link's online. Maps.decorio.com. That's the thing we should tell people is anybody can jump on here. We literally have just the link out there. If you go to maps.decorio.com, you can sign up for free and you can jump on one of these and become a part of the curiosity. That last time, Neon, and this was 2 months ago. Just pouring one out for last month's. When we were last together, you were talking about that 3D deep matter scan of the universe being the most resolution. And that's the thing, when you scroll when you pinch zoom all the way out to what we can see, it looks like a brain, like a neural network.
It does,
dude. Okay, so it's a vast space. Okay, I got two competing cool ideas. I'll go with the neater one. Dude, I have been doing so much AI vibe coding. I have been interacting for so many hours on end with these like artificial minds that I swear to God, now I broke myself in a very good way. I now see humans as poorly trained AI. They're only trained
it's on the other side of the moon.
Dude, they only trained on one life, one set of parents. These things' brains have 1 million sets of parents in them, and they got 1 million perspectives. It's like just clearly a better brain.
Wow. Yeah.
And yet it struggles with like basic spelling on occasion.
It can. You got to use the most powerful models. You got to use the Frontier Labs crank to 11. They're insane. I've been making. Okay, Lisette, you're gonna dig this.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what it does. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, fuck, and I got like 10 ideas in my head.
Understood so far.
I make a list of those ideas. I feed the script and I say, turn this into a podcast, but make the podcast hosts unhinged and like they're discovering the secret of every time and space itself, and just make them fucking nuts. And then so anyway, it cranks out this nuts level podcast, which is like very interesting, like connecting all these dots that it's like string theory on the wall. Like we're like, oh, what the fuck is all this mean? You know, it's like, it's really fun. Okay, so then I've been programming Grok to take the video file. It takes a transcript of it. It then breaks it up by time code. It then shaves it into 10-second clips and then goes to Grok and gets a piece of random animation from this like pool of random images that I have created. And it's like Mad Libs. It's like this camera angle with this noun with this verb. And so it's constantly like just making randomized poetry in the background. And like, yeah. And it's retarded how fun it is. It's like what it spits out on the other side is just like this insane visual like flux through this thing. Once I get this thing figured out, I'm right at the edge of it. You can hear the craziness, the mania in my voice. But like I'm like 7 days into programming this fucking thing. But it's we're getting very close. But what it is essentially is a automated Gutenberg press for like crazy ideas to like fully finished video podcast output, like just automated pipeline. The stuff at the other end, I can't stop watching it. It's so good.
Okay, so to this exact point, and to draw it back to the original topic of this engagement, which is Nick Cook's The Hunt for 0 Point, available on Amazon. And other friends.
Correct.
Lost that one.
On Amazon.
Dude, Nick Cook's talking about things that can fly around the sky faster. They first off, B2, established tech. It can get from here to there without as much fuel, and it can't be seen by radar. So it's got this electrical field around it.
Yep.
And it goes from there, and the book explores several branches of technology. And here's the freaking crusher. Give me a number, 0 to whatever, of how many underground Nazi manufacturing facilities you think there were at the end of World War II. Just a number, a number.
Right. It was obscenely high. It was like 1,000.
What's the number? Peter? Peter?
Oh, we're guessing?
Yeah, guess.
201.
201. Okay, that's a lot. How many would you get?
You said it was a lot. I was going to guess 69 at first.
You're going to guess 69 at first? Okay, that's a reasonable number. Squeets, what would your number be?
2.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's a low bid. Yeah, come on,
Bob,
$2, Bob, $2.
Dude, in my mind, it's hard as shit to make a Nazi underground weapons facility in the side of a mountain. I don't know how easy that is today. That seems hard fucking today. But in the fucking World War II, where, dude, no. They got concentration camps full of humans to go down there, and they would spend 20,000 lives on one of these sites. They had 111 sites. Okay, and here's kind of the wicked evil part about this science, is that the ability to get slave labor to go die in a tunnel for you is the difference between you digging these things out and doing the science in them and not. And so all of this dark, weird science is literally in a closed loop with the concentration camps, to the point where there's this guy named Kessler, I believe it's Kessler or something like that, that he was literally one of the top Nazi administrators, not even scientists, but he likely got picked up in Operation Paperclip, which was the official U.S. program to bring Nazi scientists back to the States. And there
got Werner von Braun, and then
NASA
went to the moon. Yep,
that's the entire program was on the back of Nazi science, and they would go and take. They said it was 200 plus train car, like imagine an entire train car, 200 plus of those went into the desert, into these Nellis test range, and delivered all this Nazi hardware. They essentially took the industrial base of Germany after World War II and took it out to the desert and tried to reverse engineer all this shit. But the guy who was in charge of the concentration camps was also in charge of the secret weapons programs, because the slave death labor was necessary to like make this science machine go, makes it all so dark. That guy never showed up at Nuremberg. They never raised his name one time, which means he was probably picked up in an official. They weren't searching for him at all.
Totally.
Guy who was, everybody hates the Holocaust. The guy who came up with the theories of how to get the slaves to do the death labor the most efficiently, that guy was never persecuted. Bird hands.
Right. Well, and so how I was, what I was thinking about, because we were talking about AI generating podcasts, and
Yes.
then in the book. So with this book, we were listening to the podcast that you generated for us about the book.
What'd you think of that?
Dude, it was great. And I think the thing that most impressed me about it was that, so Lakshmi and Peter, I don't know that you have this context, but when Reb Paul was like, oh yeah, let's like have AI do like a deep dive like podcast of this book that we can listen to. And because this is just how I am, I was like, yeah, that sounds great. But can one of the podcast hosts have like a weird obsession with like General Tso's chicken?
Totally. I remember that shit. I was wondering, I forgot how that got in there.
Yeah, I was like, where did this chicken part come from?
Yeah,
like
dude,
very
and so there's like
specific.
3 or 4 different times in this podcast where they're using General Tso's chicken as a analogy for like high energy plasma technologies.
Got that sauce, dude.
Got the sauce.
Dude, they talk about the motherfucking sauce.
They're not wrong about the sauce.
They're not wrong. But
there is this moment in there where there's like some screen and then the chicken wing comes up and it's dripping with the sauce. And you're just like, wait, no transition?
Oh yeah. I haven't even watched the video yet. I've only listened to the version.
I watched those 4-minute clips or whatever they were.
Oh my god.
It was early beta on that.
Yeah.
And so
I was blown away. I was like, oh, that's a creative use of the analogy. Okay.
The reason why all of the Neuralink stuff is going to go through the roof isn't because it's safe or wise or a good idea. None of those things matter. Yeah. Okay. That's just out the window. The reason it'll go through the roof is that it will literally give the human brain an escape route around language. Like the ability to just communicate image directly, mind to mind, the ability to communicate gestalt. But not only that, this is where you got to see this 1981 movie Brainstorm, okay? Because this movie caught it in 81. They created a little rig you put on it recorded your experience, and then you put it on someone else and they played it back and they had the same experience. And so you could, like literally taste, feel, experience, the whole thing. And so this is a problem in the sense of we're not a hive organization, but when you hit this level, we are. The reason why some people think the alien they talk about, what is that great divide, the gap in civilizations, you go from type 1 to... Yeah, Kardashev scale for the civilizations, but then there's a common scientific understanding of why is there this gap here. I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but what it basically says is, why aren't there more complex alien civilizations just like absolutely freaking everywhere out here? Like what are the things that could take someone down? And we're playing that out right now. We're giving everybody on the planet the ability to install a lab in their basement, and they can smallpox this shit up. Dude, that's it. That's like curtains on humanity if someone gets crazy, right? And so but it doesn't happen.
No fable for you. No fable
for me. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right. That's a bunch of nonsense. But dude, if you are a bug species and you go through consciousness evolution, you can sit at the center of that and go, is anyone fucking with smallpox? No, we're good. You can make movement consciously as a technological acquisitional society in a much more interesting and detailed way than you can with a bunch of individuals. Like when you have hive mind capabilities, and I think this is the unlock that it's giving humanity, anti-bird hands. The thing what it gives you is it gives you the ability to essentially surveil your humans and be like, let's move as a group. Dude, this could be absolute dystopia. We're going straight to the Matrix.
Straight snow crash. Like,
it could be EFF. It could be Electronic Frontiers Foundation, and it could be
my brain, or cut me off from the collective consciousness if I don't pay my subscription fee.
Right.
Wow.
I promise to go through this and remember all these movies I'm recommending and put them in Schlock Hustler. But Code 46 covers this. In 2000, I think 11 or 1, I forget which one it is, but they talk about the Sphinx. So let's say you have a neural interface with everybody that could theoretically expose every inner experience you're having to the collective. But let's also say you have precise and amazing personal security, right? And then let's say you had a little Sphinx-like agent that sat there that had no output, but it just raised its hand and says, we should watch this one. And it's allowed to watch everything, but that's it. It's just Sphinx communication. And it's tightly tuned so that you're, okay, he's a scientist. He's in the laboratory. He's not working on smallpox. So when he's talking about, GTCA, the codes of life, it's not going to be a problem. But to your point, Peter, everyone at our lab is getting flagged for doing genetic manipulations on these models. That's how worried they are about it. It's and that's also how much money there is in making new and successful drugs to cure humanity's illnesses. I yield the floor.
It's also a
It's fucking scary.
No,
dude.
lost the idea. Well, it is scary in that. No, I lost it.
Sorry, I lost it. Probably
Right
the
out
Sphinx,
the
the Sphinx
window.
turns. Dude, okay, so when you're talking about your indigenous groups that dream together, that morphogenic field is highly. You don't have to get very theoretical to go. If the nervous system of a group is already functioning as a collective organism, like we are a school of fish, it makes sense that the school of fish would dream together too. Like whatever they go through at that conscious level.
That's like a bottom up versus like insert chip in brain. Now everyone linked with safety controls.
Because, and this is what I was thinking of. It does not take a enormous leap of logic to see the slippery slope right into Philip Dick's Minority Report. Right?
I was going to say Minority
and the Department
Report.
of
Way worse. Way
You
worse.
know, we knew you were thinking about doing this, so we're just going to arrest you ahead of time. And I'm like,
well, here's the key.
Fuck, dude.
This is
Stop
going to be
my brain. Unsubscribe.
But at the end of the day, it's just it's endless distraction. But that's kind of where we're already at.
That's right.
Right.
For sure.
Very much so.
I think that there's this power that like generative AI right now gives you, where you can see something inside your inner sight, and with the least amount of effort ever in humanity, you can bring out a digital image that you can then print, make physical or whatever, and you can give it to another human. And so you can talk about things in the abstract in a way that you've never been able to. And so I always think about like 4-year-olds. Like if you train a 4-year-old to like start waking up and painting their dreams using one of these things, you are literally, the way to start remembering your dreams is to ask a question over breakfast in your family. What did everyone dream about last night? And it only takes a short amount of time before
Just
your
like
brain
the
goes,
group in
pay
Australia.
attention.
Well,
Right.
I'm thinking about the studies that are happening now where they are doing like slow drip DMT to prolong the DMT experience across like an hour rather than a few minutes, to try to bring people in and out of the state to be able to live report from the dream state, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, right. To try to, and I've read of at least one study that's really trying to figure out like, okay, everyone talks about like elves, the DMT elves. Are we all seeing the same thing? Is this actually another dimension? And I love that question.
Right.
Yeah.
Topographic studies.
Right. Well, and
we're like mapping topography.
Terrain map. Yeah.
Terrain mapping. Here be dragons.
Yeah, for
Right.
all dragons, just dragons.
Everyone, look over there.
Nixon's Leones, right? You know,
Map making, dude. Cartography. Consciousness cartography. Dude, there is something. This is the beauty of the current scientific thing, Neon. It's like we are in a quantum soup, but we've never had the language to reach into it, and we've never had the instruments to tease it apart. But we're right on the.
And I challenge that.
Good.
I challenge that because we have always had deep methods of expressing our own internal experience, be it through song, the written word, physical art, dance, trance states, right? So I think that AI is absolutely, without a doubt, a revolutionary tool. But I would challenge the assertion that we've never had access to this level of expression, because I think in many ways, like if we talk about things like collective dreaming, if we talk about the collective consciousness, if we talk about the recent social phenomenon of the telepathy tapes, right?
Yeah.
If we have all these inherent inbuilt abilities to achieve the effects that we are trying to approximate via technology, why would we not first dive as hard as we can into the internally experience the understood capabilities of our body, extraneous from any augmentation, right?
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
the
yeah.
value in the augmentation, no doubt about it. But this is the same way where I'm like, oh, occupy Mars. Fuck Mars. We've got a beautiful, gorgeous blue jewel hanging in the middle of space that if we just took care of, we wouldn't actually need an escape plan, right? We could actually live in harmony on this fucking planet. And so that's a similar ethos to my approach to the expression, right? Because I am totally on board with you. How many tools can we give these 4-year-olds to tell us about their dreams? But when you introduce other consciousness, human or synthetic, you are introducing another party. And I am interested in that 4-year-old's unique, singular experience.
Direct
experience, direct path to God.
Right.
You need to finger paint it. There's part of me that feels that finger painting is far more valuable than anything AI could generate that approximates their experience.
Seems like another language.
You're right. It's another language.
But it's a physical, very tactile layer that
this is true.
The form is used to using. These AI and whatnot is it's a different medium. So you have to get to be able to language.
AI as a medium is a beautiful note, and I've been reading a few thought leaders in this space talking specifically about AI as a medium rather than as a tool, and I think that's really interesting. One of the authors, I'm not remembering their name right now, I just read their Substack, they were talking about how a medium is something that you're in, and a tool is something that you use. And I love thinking about that distinction with AI. But they're all tools.
You're right.
That is some basic
communication tools. Yeah. The medium is the message.
That's exactly. Yeah.
This is a twist, though. I agree. Like, AI and the medium is the message twist, but that's where it comes down to. It's it's like a crystalline pattern of intelligence. It's not a living intelligence. It's a file, not an app. It's that.
Dude, in Autobiography of a Yogi, Yogananda talks about this transition of technology that he was experiencing in the 1910s and the 1920s when the radio was coming online and telecommunications were coming online. And what he was pointing out in Autobiography of a Yogi is that there was an Indian scientist who was studying this phenomena in crystals. And in crystals, you would put like a wire next to it, and it would make an electrical impulse. And if you got two crystals and you made an impulsing one, it would come out in the other one. And it was the first original discovery that there is a electromagnetic field that is touching time and space together by the shape of the crystals. So if you're in crystal shape, you vibrate to this frequency. And so the first crystal radio sets are a completely physical phenomena. They don't need a lot of humanity to do it. It's something nature's already doing. So nature at a cellular level already can have access in some ways to this field of information and such. So my point about the earlier about the quantum soup that we're in and such is simply that it is out here, and through things like CERN and through like the large particle colliders and stuff like that, we have instruments that for the insight was that for the first time we're able to peel back what these things are and how they're doing it. And there's a lot of this in the book too. When it talks about 0 point energy, they talk about where does this all come from, and that's very much like the Tao as well. Lisette, we were talking about that on the Vision Train a lot with the yin and the yang of it. It's like whenever anything comes into form, it's going to be coming out of form. Whenever there's a 1, there's a 0. It turns out that the exact mathematical system that the first chips are based off of was by a guy named Wei, and he was in the 1500s, had a style of interpreting the I Ching and its use of nothing, form, 0, 1, and then next frame, 0, 0. 1 1 0 1 0, it's like there's a way of counting. The exact way that they made computer chips is based on this Wei's view of mathematics as formed from the Tao Te Ching. So if the Tao Te Ching, the I Ching, it's like it's one of the oldest books we have, and it's a divination system that tries to use 64 hexagrams to see the imprint from the absolute in this moment. And it tries to capture which of these are moving and not, and it's based on this very simple principle that things come into form, strong masculine yang, and then they go out of form, yin receding, like light and then dark. And it's like we're just in this thing is like a pulsing thing. Whatever's happening, it's going to be unhappening soon, and it kind of breaks it down by this or whatever. So fascinating about the AI, the computer stuff in there. But the point about the autobiography of a yogi goes like this: bird hands. They were
okay.
So
it's meaning too many things.
Yeah. Oh fuck! Focus. Land the plane, fucker. Take it easy on your friends here. So the point being goes like this.
Literally, we're hearing a crow in the background.
Another crow!
I've got my door open.
That's our outdoor friends. That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
Love those crows.
So you're in the 1912s, and people are inventing telecommunications. Before you had telecommunications, before you had an understanding of radio waves and signals through lines and stuff like that, it was psychic. For a kabillion years, it was psychic. So people were sending psychic emails and talking to each other at a distant regularly. His point was it happens with all technology, and moving a body was in another time, 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, Marco Polo times. People were moving their bodies like we move a phone call around the planet, meaning they were bilocating and they were appearing and showing up. And okay, so his point was if everybody can psychically communicate using psychic emails, and then you invent email, and then you invent phones, you've just technologicized something, and you've taught humanity not to use that's the point I'm taking from what you're saying, Neon, is there's a natural human transcendent quality.
Painting.
Yeah. But he was saying it's happened for our voices, and now it's happened for our images. We're all sitting in the same room in a way right now, right? There's other people who aren't in the room, and we're in the room. There's something real about that. And the technology, good.
No, I was just gonna say it's very funny. It's the of course, apropos of the time in Orwell's 1984, to deny the evidence of your own eyes and ears was the final and most important command of the party.
Dude, just like formatting your OS with the okay, so one view of this tech, it's a fire, right? Like Prometheus stealing the fire from the gods. You can
see,
there's a way of saying that, like, if you have renegade states, who have, like, the bomb, because a lot of the stuff from the book has to do with, okay, so it turns out the secrecy in the United States around the Manhattan Project didn't come from the United States. It came from a lot of the compartmentalization and the way that the black programs evolved came from the Nazi Germany scientists who were deeply involved in this. So when they're in Germany and they're working on all of these technologies, they are compartmentalized like mojos to the point where they had this one okay, by the way, that number, it's 111. There's 111 underground Nazi bases. Yeah, that 111 is a significantly high number of facilities dug into the fucking ground. How many hidden underground bases are there now? Because we've got things like the Boring Company and stuff.
You like to know.
6.
Right? There could be an entire. They're talking. There's some ladies online I was listening to. Dude, they're talking about $22 trillion missing dollars, like breakaway civilization stuff. And where
yeah.
Where if you get underground bases and shit, and you get anti-gravity devices, and you get space Winnebagos. This is how you get Nazis on the dark side of the moon and stuff, because they can just like go up there and dude, it gets out of control. Whatever the.
Well,
okay.
Wherever you want to go.
And I think that was interesting in the early part of the book when Brown's design
were originally ostensibly rejected by the military because the effect that he was generating was ostensibly ionic wind, which in a vacuum like space, where you do not have a surrounding environment of particles, the effects of ionic wind are null, right? So in theory, I mean, and this is one of the ideas that the book posits, is that the Army said, well, hey, we're looking for space technology. And yeah, your shit definitely has some neat applications here in our Earth atmosphere, but out in the vacuum of space, you got nothing, friend. So we'll see ya. But then, of course, all information about his studies goes dark at that time. And to your earlier point, that's when you get the development of flying wing aircraft with a, ensheathed in ionized plasma, which
another technological jump. Yeah.
Right. It sounds like science fiction because that was like the 80s. I was fucking watching Alf in the 80s.
I know.
And like
and
the US government had like quasi-alien technology that was invisible to radar.
Dude, the thing that blew my mind, all in, dude, was Der Glock, the bell.
Die Glocke, ja!
Die Glock.
Das ist die Glocke.
Das ist verboten, der Glock. It's like, dude, it's like okay, so check it out. They call the project Chronos, which means time.
Yeah.
You have a big old honking physical shell with another shell inside of it, and you have two different kinds of liquid metal that's liquid at room temperature that's going in counter-rotating fields, and they're pumping millions of volts into it. The thing's glowing like a ball of light. They can't keep it on for more than a minute, and it liquefies matter around it, but they say that if you're in it when it happens, time changes for you. And the more electricity they do in it, the more you can like shift out of phase with time. And so when you open the door, you're in another place, forward or past. And and they're trying to figure this out. When they grab all this stuff after it was Operation Paperclip, dude, they were unfortunately using prisoners to do it, is what the book was saying. That there's this horrible meat grinder of human bodies and minds and hearts into this thing, which they're making all this dark. What would essentially dark tech. I mean, there's no way you can make something underground inside a mountain with slave labor and be like, it's of the light. It's like, that's not possible.
This is dark magic.
This is fucking not good, right?
Yeah. It is far from the light.
On the fucking face of it. So they're like, dude, not a good idea. Turn the other way. Like, find Jesus for sure. Like absolutely.
Sure.
Like, repent.
Get back to finger painting.
Dude. So in 1965, December 9th, there is a fireball that is seen over Canada, and it overflies 4 American states, and literally thousands of people call their local 911s, and they're like, the fucking thing in the sky, dude. And people see it changing directions and moving around. It finally lands in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. And to this day, you can go there, and by their fire department, they made a model replica of what looks exactly like Der Glock. And it is probably a 1965 test flight of this fucking thing. And it overshoots 4 states, and everyone gets fucked up about it. But it's whatever it turns out to be, if it's a UFO or deep tech, these fuckers in Kecksburg go through it. Because they're a farming community, and then all of a sudden there's people who've seen it and it's real, and people who haven't seen it and it's not real. And it just drives a wedge where they're just ready to fight over reality.
Okay, so let's pause right there. A populace dedicated to fighting over reality, because all of them know. They know for certain what they know, and each of them knows something different.
I know what I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
So the hunt, excuse me. So the hunt for 0 Point, there's the military and the technological level, and then there's the human psyche level. There's the societal level. There's the interpersonal level.
Well said.
And this is what I'm so fascinated with is this concept of like those who how to communicate with one another when your reality is fundamentally different. At what point humanity en masse loses its capacity to trust its senses, what role trust plays in your seeing, hearing, smelling, experiential knowing, and the way that we've come to understand it in contemporary, at least Western culture, right? I can't help but think about, as I'm looking through the lens of the military and technological, that at the mass cultural level, these things disseminate in a way that is not technical. We don't have to know everything about it to be like, I saw something I can't explain and my mom doesn't believe me.
Yeah. And when you're hooked up to certain media channels, you get exposed to things that other people don't get exposed to. You can be traumatized, or you can be enlightened, or you can have all kind. You essentially take your neural model and you train it on some new information that other people aren't training on.
Yeah.
And empathy, I think, is I honestly think empathy is the key to being able to interact in this. You said about AI as like a medium or whatever. Like with multimedia, we were talking about the mirror neuron. When I was really deep into teaching with VR, I would put students in experiences, and then you would go fight a fire. I was in an Ebola outbreak, and I have to be careful to remind myself to tell people that I wasn't actually in Africa in a suit administering doses, because my brain thinks I was. I have an experience. I can tell you what it was like to be there, and if details I can't remember, my mind will generate as the magic of memory unfolds.
Sure, of course.
And so the I think there is the VR makes it very powerful. But you were talking earlier. You were on a thread, Neon, about transcendental experience, consciousness experience, like experiencing the
group consciousness
soup that's here.
Yeah.
The quantum soup that we're all sort of interacting with, and this kind of stuff. Dude, so much technology, and I'm talking everything from the personal computer to virtual reality to whole programming languages, come out of the direct psychedelic experience of engineers. Engineers doing acid is why you have a personal computer. Like, take out acid, no personal computer. Watson and Crick discovering the structure of DNA. Kary Mullis discovering PCR. That was the amplification technology that's used to make DNA these days. It's the reason why you can have a COVID outbreak, basically. And so there's this book doesn't get into it, but there is a really dark underbelly of sort of demonic shit that goes into the early. There's a book called Better Angels about Jay Pearson's and the first Pearson's Rocket Labs, and there's all of this really dark. When I say dark, what I mean is occult, I guess is the right way to say it. Occult means obscured knowledge, right? It's like a knowledge that is not in the light or whatever. It's really interesting to deal with that kind of stuff, like spiritually or whatever, because if you are in a bright knowledge, or a knowledge that has a lot of minds on it, it's usually got it like, it's kind of like illumined pretty well. There might be some secrets in the dark, but they're not well illumined, so it's like you're traveling in like this other kind of wild place or whatever. But the way that they would make the rocket launches, the ascent into the physical layers of the earth and the heavens, into kind of a ritual with the way they did their symbols and the way they did a lot of superstitious stuff around these programs. It hasn't helped. The obfuscation of it hasn't helped what could be like the real science that wants to come out. But I was going to point out that that thing about prosthesis and technology taking away something from you is 100% true, in the sense that everybody can send a psychic email right now, but we don't train each other on psychic emails. We train each other on how to use an email.
Right.
And you can talk to everybody in a way. And so there's this, with that, what's that what you're talking about with Neuralink, you know, when you start to have the actual hard line to the brain open up, what you start to open up is this ability to, in the way that Nikola Tesla had to like talk to angels to get the downloaded plans for AC motors that we use now. You're talking about, I think, a smoother path, honestly, for some of this shit. Like, which could be good and bad, depending on how you see the changing world since AC motors were brought into it, you know?
Sure, yeah.
I totally get the point. I totally get it. And it's fascinating, and it's because it's technology that is growing so rapidly for us on the consumer level. The exploration is really we're at Mach speed, and it's exhilarating to just be like, whoa, what is this field gonna give me next?
Right, because we are so ill-equipped by our evolution for this time,
this level of information access. Yeah.
Or are we? I think that was Lizette's point. Is like, what do we have to be afraid of? We're like very naturally adaptive through all these different mediums. And so, yeah, we're going really fast.
At speed, I think it's at some level, yeah.
Well, and perhaps it's a specific, when you see the extreme reactions to technology, right? The folks who are like fucking bomb data centers, bring that shit down. I understand the motivations, be it humans first, right, or be it environmental impact. Like, sure, I get it. I can truck with your motivations. I'm not there, right? But
it's a lot of money going in one direction.
It sure is, yeah. Oh God.
But, we were talking about AI as a literary tool earlier, in the sense that the way I made those things is that was Notebook LM. So I took a copy of the book and I put it inside of there, and then I asked it questions and kind of learned some stuff about the knowledge that was in there. I kind of had a map of it, and then we came up together with a prompt for how we were going to get the podcast out of it. You were there when we did that, Neon, and that's where we added the General So's chicken thing.
Yes, absolutely.
See, what you get to see as you watch those pachinko machine pinballs go through their process, right?
Yes.
You get to see this. You get experience in this thing that is kind of outside of human experience, in the sense of how another mind would sort of assemble these things.
Yeah.
It's really nuts, because I think it turns out, we'll probably touch on this a million times, but it turns out that the logos, whatever the word is, the truth, when someone's speaking it, when that's written correctly, that makes a good book. That book sticks around in print, meaning the corpus of written material over time accretes around with the truth. And so, and what people would like to repeat or like to understand, it has value in human experience. And of course, the printing press and all that's downstream of oral tradition, which is myth telling, and the bard, which is the way that all of, like, the Homer, the Iliad, all of that is a oral tradition of people talking about their experiences.
This is very much like Ram Dass when he says, the only the part of you that is me can hear what I'm saying right now.
There you go.
Right. And I feel what you're saying around these books, right? That there are these these truths that I'm like, yeah, I hear that. Why do I hear that? Oh, well, because maybe it is perhaps foundational in some way, a potential slippery slope, but a real reasonable assumption.
The things that an AI does are things that could be done on paper with a set of humans calculating it. It would just take longer than the span of the universe to do it. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the kinds of thinking that a regular human can do on a piece of paper accelerated so many fold with the technology that now it's like talking to us and like sounding intelligent.
Yeah.
Something about what we gave it intelligence somehow, like just literally through not one person, but our collective knowledge set somehow sparked enough intelligence to get the fire going. Now the fire is growing.
Fucking different than Genesis 1:1. It's the exact same fucking.
In the beginning
story.
Was the Word, and the Word was with God. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. We figured out the math to look at all that pattern.
Zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones. Made from the I Ching. Yeah. made from the early probabilistic matrix of 64 possibilities. You guys, your I Ching is so deep. I connect with that thing. I haven't really ever connected with astrology like my love has, and I haven't connected with tarot like some people do. But I tell you what, the I Ching, I can get behind some 6 broken or unbroken lines gathering the state of the universe here.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm reactivating you here. There you go.
I'm unfamiliar with that pattern, but I put in our Curiosity Engine chat a Veritasium video.
Ooh.
It's called "The Strange Math That Predicts Almost Anything," It's about Markov chains, and it explains them. And this is exactly how they built algorithms that then train these models to see the structure in language and
you can do it on paper. They did it first on
pretty
paper.
much any pattern that can be picked up that you can document.
Cool. Cool.
Dude, the last time we were meeting Curiosity Engine, we were talking about Project Hail Mary, and we were talking a little bit about astrophage, and we were talking about we were talking about that large-scale map of the universe, Neon.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing I didn't get a chance to share last time. It goes like this. I was always taught that we're on the Earth, and you could essentially draw the speed of light is very fast, and it goes out about so far in a year. The closest star is 4 light years away, meaning if you were traveling as Alpha Centauri, if you're traveling as fast as the fastest thing we can identify, you can only, and that's really unusual. Like that's turning whole planets into an energy source to get your thing going that fast. It's really destructive. So you're not getting anywhere near the speed of light, mostly, right? So you could only travel out as far as your lifetime. So for example, if you're traveling at the speed of light, you could get 80 years, a baby could get 80 years from the Earth if they were born on day 1 on liftoff. 80 years from there, they're having their funeral on a spaceship somewhere as they travel out. So you can take the Earth and you can draw an 80 light year sphere around it, and that's it. Right? Like for a single person, you could see one. Now your kids could get born and they could see the part in between, and then their kids could get born, and then eventually you land at the other place or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's how the whole universe was, based on my understanding of it. That science inside of Project Hail Mary was talking about as you accelerate closer to the speed of light, your perception of time also slows. Burden.
Yes.
So that if you leave Earth and you are at it's like a simple 1.5 G. It's 1.5 Gs of acceleration. After a year of acceleration, it becomes exponential, meaning time halves for you every year. So everyone else experiences a year, you experience 6 months. Everyone else experiences a year on Earth, you experience 3 months. And it keeps going like this down until you are just coasting at the speed of light. And then your ship turns around halfway through, fires, and it slows down and you come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It would take only 33 years to get from where we are to the absolute edge of our light cone. Meaning there is nowhere we can't go. The only thing we have to get good at is saying goodbye to those people, because they're going to get on a ship and they're going to go and then they're going to look like a smear in the sky. And for hundreds of years, that smear is going to get dimmer and dimmer. If we had the right kind of telescopes, we could see them moving slower and slower on their ship until they look like they're frozen to us. A whole human lifetime, they haven't picked up a cup of coffee. But their light still comes back to us. Eventually, all their light will come back to us.
And we could
scale.
We could scale. We could expend.
But you could go anywhere.
Light. We could say goodbye to all these people, right?
That's right.
What's one option? Another option is using essentially what amounts to a CubeSat with a ring of essentially a solar array ring around it, and with Earth-based lasers, we could push a very small object, highly packed with sensors, and we could get it to Alpha Centauri in about 7 years.
Yeah.
No problem, right? So we can send now. That technology is, and again, everything is always a certain amount of years away, right? But in practice, the technology already exists. The technological capability to do it already exists.
Yeah.
So if you have solar sails and a powerful enough laser beam pushing it consistently from Earth, you're good.
You could do it.
We now have the capacity to hire some satellite to shine light on our movie set at night from space if we need it illuminated. It seems like we could expend that little 7-year dilly bob out to the edges of
human understanding.
Right.
I didn't know about this being true, but I was on set and I was talking with a couple of the guys from this production company, and they were like, "Oh yeah, dude." And I think it was either like Sun on Demand or it was like Sunsat or
They have
something.
like mirrors in space that are directing sunlight down to where you are or whatever.
Yes, and so essentially they're like,
What the
"Hey,
fuck?
are you on the dark side of
Icarus
the
shit.
Earth? Do you need daylight level sunlight for your festival? We can provide that for you. No probs. We
Dude,
got
I
it.
am fascinated. This is amazing.
Dude.
I will look this up and I will put it in the group chat.
That
I was
sounds
with that
awesome.
before,
That's
but
crazy.
it was, I didn't know this was a thing, and I'm like, how unto a deity we behave.
Yeah.
We create
insane.
intelligences that approximate our own. We
False suns.
we dare to fucking redirect the goddamn sun. Who are we? Lucifer, the light bringer.
Right.
I don't know.
Dude,
I
Have
don't
no
know.
false sons before me.
That's
I always try to remind people. That Carl Sagan is the human responsible for the object furthest away from Earth right now. You're talking about throwing a pop can like to another star system, right?
Yeah.
There's this book called Accelerando, which it has this exact same thing laid out in it. Every chapter, the guy writing it is wild. It's not Stevenson, but I forget his name. Anyway, every chapter is another 10x years. And so as you go through it, you go through this process where they disassemble one of the Jupiter moons, they turn it into a laser, they clone their consciousnesses in silico, they make a diamond-based computer with a giant space sail, they turn the moon into light, and they send it out to an alien router that they found. It connects, and then like they get downloaded by essentially script kiddies that come over and like take over their society, and they go through this whole shock of being connected to the galactic router kind of thing. And that's Accelerando. But Carl Sagan, he would come into work high as shit at NASA. He said he was smoking at all day. His wife said they'd come home and smoke like it was a sacrament, like every night. That's the guy who was like, dude, what we need is like Voyager 1 and 2. And so they made the golden record, which has the sound of whales and his wife's unborn baby's heartbeat on it. And just, it's this gorgeous thing. They packed it up. They shot one off in 74 or 5, and then they shot one off in 76, the year I was born. And that shit, when they still can get signals from it and get some images back from it. It's the farthest thing that humanity has thrown anywhere. And everyone's like, oh, weed like slows you down. It's like, not for Carl Sagan. Because he's literally got matter farther away from Earth than anybody. What are you talking about?
What have you done?
Levels.
Once he was an actual federal criminal. Who
right.
a couple of times. But you know, he said to me once, he was like, you know, we were talking about being high at work, and he's and I ended up saying to him, I was like, yeah, dude, I totally understand that for some people, weed is exclusively recreational, right? And like, it is not a thing that enhances their abilities to like.
We call those people pussies, but please
their
continue.
work. But for fucking other people, we just want to get absolutely tripping face. And that's where we do our best work. You know, it depends on the work
and the weed.
Legit.
It's performance enhancing for Carl Sagan. For Carl Sagan, he's like, no golden records with whale songs on them are getting it anywhere without this sweet herb. I mean,
yeah.
Like, anyway,
getting the work done.
Dude, the book itself, thoughts on the book itself, you know, what's wild is as you go through this whole process with this book, you kind of, I think the takeaways are there's a lot of secret stuff that got filtered and probably dead-ended and not explored.
Yep.
There's probably a lot of stuff that can make bombs, like they call them scalar weapons. And they're essentially, it's like reality torquing shit. That, you know, timeline torquing shit that you're just, you know, that movie Tenet, if you've seen this movie Tenet, they're talking about temporal weapons. They're at war with the future. Yeah. It's the kind of thing where anyway, when we discovered nuclear energy and we cracked the atom, we get all these alien visitations. Could be like a security system from the future, could be like our own stuff. It could be that we're just, we're like, the story that the people at the highest level of government say goes like this. it's like we're all chimpanzees in like an ape sanctuary, and there's this alien guy, and he's like, his job is to make sure the ape sanctuary works right, make sure the apes are happy, that they're fed right, everything's cool, run it right or whatever. And the apes, when we crack the atom, it's like they figured out how to escape, and they're like, oh God, put them back inside there or whatever. And what these people at the highest levels of government are saying is that at times it's been like the ape figures out how to like sharpen a stick and break out, and then shows up in the guy's driveway when he's trying to put his kid in the car, and he's like, whoa, this is going way too far. And
was very specific and very evocative, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I felt that. I was like, oh shit, is he gonna be okay? Whoa, in the car? God damn it. Yeah.
Dude, there's this sort of so they hid a bunch of science, and they put a bunch of science in this black box, and that's the whole UFO. That's the real thing behind the UFO disclosure stuff right now. Right. That lots of countries have got donated or downed craft. They've reverse engineered them, and the Chinese are releasing. Dude, I think it was January or maybe it was late last year. The Chinese propaganda, I was on some crazy YouTube channels that were clearly like Chinese propaganda channels, and they were like saying, here's our new Chinese spaceship. And I was like, what? And it was like this thing that looked like a blimp that was enormous, like the size of a small city, and it was being held up by these anti-gravity kind of things, and they were just saying this on all their media. And I was like, hang on. And I pumped it through a bunch of AI like deep dives, and it's like, no. The Chinese government comes out and says they have crazy tech every like 3 years. They get, and you want to hear some of the crazy shit they got, and there's just this history of crazy shit. But it's not all based on it's some of it's based on some truths. And so they think that other countries are getting ready to sort of make moves with this stuff. And so they have to bring the U.S. public up to speed about the science, about the tech that they've repressed, about whatever the contact history is with humanity and these other things.
That's what I was going to ask the group next is sort of like, what's the temperature read on like, so like why? So why the long lead time? What's up with the disclosure timing that we're maybe seeing now, where we understand that probably a lot of this is governmental, maybe not all of it. Who am I to say? But what's the over under? This is what Neon and I were talking about in preparation for this call, is this sort of sense of like, what's the over under for the government on how this is being handled? How it's being kind of dripped out as like, we don't know. It's just unidentified. Woohoo!
Draw your own conclusions.
The way that it's right, it's kind of clownish. Where it's like, okay, some of this is clearly fucking government, like obviously. Some of it we don't know, and some of it's just like drones from a fucking 13-year-old over the ocean.
Totally.
And some of it is not revealed tech, right? And then some of it is like there's room for the mystery, and like it's tantalizing as a human being to be like, I want it all to be the mystery, or it's very safe feeling as a human being to be like, I need it all to be government. And so I'm curious about like what we're feeling about like how the kind of cards are being played at, like this idea that like, oh, okay, there's like this pressurized sense from some sort of spoken, unspoken global communication standpoint of like the powers that be deciding that the common man is ready or not ready to hear X, Y, or Z. So I can kind of get behind that, but I'm curious, like, and I was saying to Neon earlier, I'm like, but you know, we're in a country where like the market exists.
The market that you talked about.
We're all capitalists here. We're all trying to fucking get paid a lot, more trillions of dollars than the next dude. So like, where is the like, you know, so what's the capitalist protection coming into play here? And like, how long can they kind of spin out the myth of like, we don't know? Like, when does that cease to become useful? And like, what will that be like?
Because like one of the examples we talked about was that you sometimes hear about the idea that microwave technology and like laser technology were just too big of a technological leap at the time that we had them, and they became popularized. And so the idea being like, well, right, we had microwave ovens in the 1950s, but it wasn't until about 50 or 60 years later that you started hearing about directed energy weapons that use microwaves. right? So is there an idea that it is profitable to sell it to the public for a long time, develop the technology, and then kind of use that in a capitalistic way to fund this other stuff? But why wouldn't that be true? Or to your point, are we just now hitting that same level with this disclosure level technology, right? Have we been talking about it for so long that in the way that microwaves became weapons eventually, is it that these stories we've been hearing for 50, 60 years are now becoming, well, now's the time either to monetize or, Red Paul, to your point, prepare people for it.
And I think through the monetization lens, it's like, okay, we've been kind of feeding you this idea of these like godlike impossible powers, switching on a dime, vanishing, changing shape, propulsion,
transmedium capabilities,
right. Such that when
bending time and space.
Right. Such that when a product comes to market that exhibits one of those things, it's like, this is a godlike power, and now we're going to sell you our stock price on godlike power. So is this just the buildup that preps all of us for like being hungry for the godlike power, and then it's like, oh, now you're going to buy into it, and you know what I mean, like align with God as long as possible,
right? We've already been given omnipotence by these devices, right? I'm sorry, not omnipotence, omniscience by this device. It allows us to access the entire sum knowledge of mankind's understanding at the speed of light. And then this technology would allow us then to ostensibly travel the heavens as a god,
space
with
Winnebago,
the knowledge of God at our side and probably embedded in the vessel. So,
and you ask yourself, how many times has it happened before?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I when I was in my 20s, I ran into some crazy theories about slabs of like dark stone in space being like old, like satellites from some really not well remembered time. Just like random shit up there. I am super interested though, Squeets, in what you're thinking, and you too, Peter. With those, there were some excellent questions.
Yeah.
UFOs, disclosure timing. Your AI summary says.
No, the temperature check on right now. How to, dude. When everything changes so fast, we gotta stand still a little bit, take it in.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think that's a totally fair reaction, right? Like in an unprecedented time when it's dizzying, the reasonable response is to try and find stability, of course.
Yeah.
Reduce the noise.
Yeah.
I was fascinated to go opening day with Paul to see Disclosure Day with big expectations, that it was going to be unbelievable things shown that would rock our universe and cause potentially mass panic to ensue down the street. And it was not that. It was not that. It was
a very good chase movie. It was a very good chase movie.
It was,
yeah,
but it was not that. Yeah,
it was lightweight.
Yeah.
It was. He did not keep up. He did not keep up with everything.
No,
you've just written a book about star seeds and about people using their journeying capabilities to talk to their star lineage origins. What would you say about all this stuff you see?
You know, I haven't made the link yet to those beings from other planets that I interact with in a journey space actually traveling in a concrete way to visit us. Like, I have not made that connection. I think it would be useful to make that connection, but all of mine have been thanks to having a mindfold, a drum beat, an ascension guide taking me up to meet beings from the Pleiades or Astara or Arcturus or the angelic kingdom. And so I report on those with absolute certainty that it's real, but I've not made the link to, hey, you want to come visit? Let's have a cup of tea. Like, you want to hop in a craft and I live here in Evergreen, come visit. Let's talk. It's all been so very
Consciousness
in the
only.
dimension of an upper world journey. I haven't put it together.
Wow, what a really neat perspective.
Yeah, I love that.
Neat. Yeah.
Peter, what are your thoughts on all this stuff? Hey, Peter saw his first movie. He walked into his first movie theater when he was 20 years old in 2016.
Get the fuck out of here.
2016.
What was the movie?
It was like
The
Mission
Martian.
Impossible something.
But I think it was earlier than, I don't know if it was 2016.
Oh my god,
I was in high school. I graduated
This is
high
a
school.
brain. This is a brain that got to fully form without a lot of media. I always think Peter's brain's
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
Totally.
You're so pure.
Yeah.
Didn't grow up with 30-second commercial interruptions. Like, welcome to ADHD, bitches.
Right.
No.
Um,
I was spared. Practically got to go ad free, you know, straight in.
That's too funny.
So, friends,
What do you think about all this stuff?
I think it's you know, I'm gonna wait till I see some stuff. There's a lot of crazy, very basic bullshit out here in the world, and this is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And so when I start thinking at the scale of this, it's like, I don't know, it kind of just all comes down to the things that I already care about, which is like agency and freedom of speech, and it's like, if our institutions struggle with that, I don't know how that, it's just like, you know, we're cracking into a whole new like exponential of issues and chaos. So, you know, we stare into the sun every day, I guess.
when I think about the hilarious, when I think about like where Flight of the Navigator came from, back from the beginning of our conversation, right? Like the first version was take some little kid and scan his brain. Cheryl's got this whole chapter of her book on indigo kids, which is like this whole, how do these kids have this? This was literally an idea in the 80s. You scan the brain of one of these things, you can make a UFO out of it. You know, it's like that's wild to me. That's wild. The when I was 10, they were writing Ender's Game. This Mormon dude was writing about how this kid was like rock solid in the Lord and could like command fleets because he was really good at video games. And I was like, I'm in. Like, let's go. Like, sign me up for Space Alien Invaders Force. I'm down. Like, let's. And so it's wild to see the militarization of this. What this book, to your point, Neon, really, with Nick, Soder, the guy.
Nick Cook, author of
Nick Cook.
0 Point.
Dude, you're exactly, his ability to see this. I had never realized this before. What's happened, and I think this is what all the disclosure stuff is saying, is that these little discoveries got parceled out to different companies. Companies are not FOIA-able, so that's where they hid the technologies. They've run into dead ends and they've hidden stuff and they've murdered and everything else to keep it all a secret. Because to your point, Lisette, they want to control the entire world. You have a little box that just makes electrons move for forever, infinite energy. You heat every house. You light every light. You run every AI to teach every child. You fly drones to protect your house and bird hands. Nobody gets to like come fuck with your shit. You know,
drones.
Yeah, totally. Like drones with like pencil-sized tungsten rods that can like destroy
drones
faces.
You're
periods. Done. Yeah, you just get one of those in Amazon and just send it out into the world, and it just like does it. Anyway, you get enough energy
UFO
like that.
pizza.
UFO pizza.
That's
right. Yeah.
Dude, I was unprepared for the reality of it, which is this: it's a marketplace. It's a lot of people hiding their shells from each other, not collaborating. It's not science. Science is everybody collaborates together and you go forward. Copernican revolution. You don't have anything like that. And that's where Eric Weinstein,
science. Right, exactly.
He really gets into it with geometric unity and a lot of it. There's a I think there'd be a lot of value in. There's a documentary about Townsend Brown, which is really good. There's different ways you can get into it, but the point being that the people who were in this movie, Age of Disclosure, that came out this year, that if you listen to the director of that, he was a guy who found Ernest Cline, who wrote a book called Ready Player One, attached it to Spielberg, which is like the royal road to heaven in Hollywood.
Right.
And they got Ready Player One made. He made a bunch of cash, and he then put it into what he wanted to do, which was Age of Disclosure. He got introduced in military circles to people who were handed him off to other people who they steered him clear of wackos who were trying to disinformatiate him. And and the people he was talking to, the people at the highest levels of government, 37 of them on film, were saying, this is disclosure. This is the American government telling you what we kind of know and what we suspect is going on. And what they need for this whole thing to work is they need amnesty and protection for whistleblowers, because there are people who've signed away their lives to work on these programs, and they're in the tens of thousands now. And so David Grush went with Tim Burchett and Representative Paula Luna from Florida, and those humans, with a bunch of other people, they were trying to get Trump to pass this executive order that would give him 60 days of protection. If they get that protection, they can then tell them everything that they know from working on these programs, and that allows everybody to connect these dots. But it also allows the government to go in and take these toys from these companies. And so that, I think, is the actual rubber meets the road kind of problem here. David Grush at his last press conference was talking about a spectrum of alien consciousness, all the way up to including conscious plasmas.
Yes. I have that tab open on my phone right now. The granddaddy of conscious plasmas, I believe, is the title of that article. I know that.
So I think once we get the whistleblower protections, we're going to get more of the nuts and bolts. And as we get, but the people at the highest levels, like Hal Puthoff and stuff, they've all written books that have said, listen, if you're a senior in college right now or high school, focus on these things. Focus on this kind of gravimetrics. Focus on this high pulse energy into spinning things. You know, they lay out in the appendices of their books, they lay out like 30 things you should get into, and it's all around this same technology of spending space-time, shielding gravity, flying anywhere you want to, doing anything you want to. And they haven't cracked it yet. We're just getting wildly, other countries are now nipping at it. So in the same way that they had to suppress nuclear technology and the enrichment of uranium and plutonium because they didn't want proliferation, it's the same thing with these scalar weapons. So there's a part of it that has to remain black. You can't just tell a high school senior how to make something, because apparently it's really easy to make like a box. They go, oh, you just pull this thing in, and that's it. Like it all just, that's it. Kind of shit. You know, like they talk about this shit in the Upanishads with when the gods are fighting, they create these Astara weapons, these weapons that can destroy whole realities. And it hurts their souls so much to use them that they banish them, because they can't deal with the karma of turning off whole things out there with some of these weapons. So so there's some of it that has to. You got a bear up there?
I don't know. I think there might be a friend in the house. Hang on.
Okay. Tell me if there is. I'll come kick it out. There's no
bears.
We have bears all over the place.
Dude, I have been telling everyone who will listen about your triple layered bear defense grid.
Alpha, Beta, and Charlie. Yes.
I know. And I recited to them.
That's Delta right now going into action. She's the final.
That's Delta. So here's what I'm thinking about. So Hal Puthoff just lit this up in my mind. So I'm thinking about one of these kinds of laws of ESP that people like he and Russell Targ might talk about, is this idea that like the more something is trying to be shielded by the more people, the more clearly it lights up in this extrasensory space.
Yes.
And so the ways that this technology in particular seems to be lighting up for so many people in so many directions would really follow suit with that idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
can't suppress it. It'll shine out.
It's shining in
the more you try to hide it, it's like in the fucking Gospel of Thomas, right? It's like what you bring forth will save you. What you do not bring forth will destroy you.
Yeah. What do you
It
have
is a
for-
race. Einstein was talking about that it's a race. The consciousness has unlocked the atom, but it hasn't unlocked the wisdom to deal with the power of unlocking the atom. And
Yeah.
so it's a consciousness problem. Yogananda said the same thing, that the only thing that would contain the explosive power of nuclear energy would be a greater power, and the only greater power of that would be the spiritual nature, the God itself, the spiritual minded enlightened human. Everybody become that, because that's what we need to put our arms around this and make it kind of work. Because we're not those insects, right? Like, we don't have that hive-like capability. But with the telepathy tapes and with all the psi stuff, dude, I could see a total route of humanity where we really embrace that reality and give it some real time, and just and it's probably going to be more of a folk thing, right? Than it's going to be like a scientific thing. I don't know. I think it'll be ground up more. I'm already seeing people online who are like reading each other's thoughts and think it's hilarious.
all the time.
Right. No,
All the time.
absolutely.
But it's like dancing through the realm of myth and story, not of science fact.
Right. Repeatable,
textbook
peer
of-
reviewed.
Yeah.
It's
The
disjointed from reality and how it displays itself, because it's dream.
It's dream. It's exactly
Yeah,
the dream
yeah.
language.
It's dream. The guy who brought shamanism to the West, Michael Harner, he was, as a teenager, in his house, as he tells the story. He the people who were the cooks and the grounds people, they were Shuar, and when he started getting rowdy as a young human, they said to his mom and dad, hey, can we take him to like our people? And they said, get him the hell out of here. And so they took him and they did rites of passage in the Shuar, which is an ayahuasca taking tribe. He had all these experiences. He's the one that brings back the drum beat. The Shuar's logo is the world is as you dream it. And so, dream a good dream. And so with all of this stuff, the thing you keep getting back around to is, once you open all the doors and you see all the lights and you see all the stuff, it's like, where's the character in it? Like, what are you doing with it? What are you bringing forward? Like what you said, Dion, like the thing you bring forward will be the thing that saves you. What do we got there? We got an invasion upstairs?
I think there was something happening on the outside patio that created a loud noise. So we're good.
We've seen some new bears today. Dude, anyway, the world is as you dream it, right? So it's like dream that good dream.
So to that end,
True.
folks, I am at a point out here on the prairie where I am looking towards dreamings and dreams of my own.
There you go.
But we were talking about, all of this conversation I think is really interesting, be it about disclosure, be it about Nick Cook's book, The Hunt for 0 Point. I think a lot of the questions come down to trust, right? In who do you trust? How do you trust? And I wrote down this phrase that Lisette said to me, and it was probably maybe, I don't know, the better part of 10 years ago when we lived in Portland, and I can't even remember what we were on about, but it was something about like base core understandings, like what is like core human level. And I remember clearly Lisette said, yeah, really kind of like what it comes down to is, who do you trust to build a fire? And who do you trust to bury you? And I'm like, fuck. That's kind of the core of it in a way, and it's relieving in a way to think about that, where I'm like, oh, yeah.
We kind of started Sunday Fun Day, our shamanic group, as a bury you group. One of the insights we had during COVID was, like in the Jewish faith, they'll sit Shiva for a certain number of days. In the Buddhist faith, it's like 33 days. All you really need is one person who kind of keeps an eye on you while you travel through the bardos, keeps you out of trouble, keeps you headed towards the light, and you're going to have a great upcycling in your soul's journey or whatever. It is not hard to do. It is extremely lightweight work. And so that's what we're doing with Sunday Fun Day. When people do Sunday Fun Day and they if they pass on, we're just all going to pray for you like crazy until we feel like our job's done.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a beautiful sentiment.
That makes so much sense. I love knowing that.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Friends,
Totally.
feel free
This is
to
a great
keep going, but like this
great place
is
to park.
fantastic. Always such a thrill to chat and like toss ideas around like a Nerf ball and just see what sort of great spirals we can throw on these ideas. I love it. This
was an excellent treatment of Nazi UFO technology. I thought we covered some real bases here.
We really did. We covered some great ground. Yes. All right.
Any words of wisdom before we exit here?
Good luck with your application, Neil.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really, really, really.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it. Wait, Peter, were you here when I was talking about this?
No.
My application, 30-second version is that I am applying to the Polar STEAM science, technology, engineering, arts, math program, where essentially I, if accepted to this program, I would get deployed to Antarctica for anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks, where I would be helping out scientists and then writing poetry about it.
Dude.
So that's what I'm shooting for. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I barely got this loop technology off the floor when we got started. I did like one thing out of 42 things I wanted to do. So I'm gonna hang around and make a bunch of weird noises on here and show a bunch of crazy shit on the screen.
Perfect.
Peter, Squeets, any thoughts? Final thoughts?
I love this. Let's do it again.
Yes.
Let's do it again soon.
Sounds great.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. Excellent conversation per usual. Great, evocative, clarifying conversation.
Yes.
Woo.
This is the best.
So cool.
Thoughts together. Thanks for thinking out loud and neuroning with us.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Loop.
Cool thoughts.
I know.
Exactly.
That's like the coolest thing. Every time I think of you guys, it's that you guys, our favorite activity is thinking cool thoughts.
I love thinking cool thoughts.
That's like
It really is.
That's like the first thing I picked up about you guys, and I was like, "That's fucking awesome."
Oh, good. Thank you for that reflection.
What an honor.
Let's get Mrs. Walcott in here and just see what she's curious about. It was so cool to hear what everybody was curious about this evening, and we've got so much ink in the well for next time. Oh my God.
We do. All right, friends.
Take it easy, everybody. Here we go.
Yo,
Bye.
Bye. Shade.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
I think they got old equipment over there. They got Atari and shit. They're way behind.
A lion, a giraffe, a bear, and a shark.
Well, because there's going to be so much change. Yeah, exactly.
People are going to like get scared shitless.
All right then, let's hear it. What did you see?
Spook or quack or sinful hat maniac for even positing some of these.
I
ideas.
covered. So stoked on this.
with 3 fruits placed between each one. Chill winds kiss my cheeks. White desert of frozen dreams. Heart finds peace in ice. Apple, banana, cherry, penguins waddle near. Black and white against the blue. Nature's comedy. Orange, mango, strawberry, aurora dances high. Green lights paint the polar night. Wonder fills the soul. Kiwi, pineapple, grape. Blizzard howls and swirls. Visibility fades to white. Hidden world awaits. Lemon, blueberry, peach. Silent, vast expanse. Footsteps crunch on ancient snow. Alone yet alive. Pear, coconut, watermelon. Seals bask on the floe. Whales sing beneath the ice sheet. Life defies the cold. Apple, banana, orange. Midnight sun won't set. Days blend in endless twilight. Time loses its hold. Mango, cherry, kiwi. Station lights glow warm. Science probes the planet's past. Human spark survives. Pineapple, grape, lemon. Frost on every lash. Breath clouds form in crystal air. Purity profound. Strawberry, peach, blueberry. Leaving this pure land. Memories of ice remain. Forever transformed. Chill winds kiss my cheeks. White desert of frozen dreams. Heart finds peace in ice. Apple, banana, cherry, penguins waddle near. Black and white against the blue. Nature's comedy. Orange, mango, strawberry, aurora dances high. Green lights paint the polar night. Wonder fills the soul. Kiwi, pineapple, grape. Blizzard howls and swirls. Visibility fades to white. Hidden world awaits. Lemon, blueberry, peach. Silent, vast expanse. Footsteps crunch on ancient snow. Alone yet alive. Pear, coconut, watermelon. Seals bask on the flow. Whales sing beneath the ice sheet. Life defies the cold. Apple, banana, orange. Midnight sun won't set. Days blend in endless twilight. Time loses its hold. Mango, cherry, kiwi. Station lights glow warm. Science probes the planet's past. Human spark survives. Pineapple, grape, lemon. Frost on every lash. Breath clouds form in crystal air. Purity profound. Strawberry, peach, blueberry. Leaving this pure land. Memories of ice remain, forever transformed. Kiss my cheeks. White desert of frozen dreams. Heart finds peace in ice. Apple, banana, cherry. Penguins waddle near. Black and white against the blue. Nature's comedy. Orange, mango, strawberry, aurora dances high. Green lights paint the polar night. Wonder fills the soul. Kiwi, pineapple, grape. Blizzard howls and swirls. Visibility fades to white. Hidden world awaits. Lemon, blueberry, peach. Silent, vast expanse. Footsteps crunch on ancient snow. Alone yet alive. Pear, coconut, watermelon. Seals bask on the flow. Whales sing beneath the ice sheet. Life defies the cold. Apple, banana, orange. Midnight sun won't set. Days blend in endless twilight. Time loses its hold. Mango, cherry, kiwi. Station lights glow warm. Science probes the planet's past. Human spark survives. Pineapple, grape, lemon. Frost on every lash. Breath clouds form in crystal air. Purity profound. Strawberry, peach, blueberry. Leaving this pure land. Memories of ice remain, forever transformed. Each one. Chill winds kiss my cheeks. White desert of frozen dreams. Heart finds peace in ice. Apple, banana, cherry. Penguins waddle near. Black and white against the blue. Nature's comedy. Orange, mango, strawberry, aurora dances high. Green lights paint the polar night. Wonder fills the soul. Kiwi, pineapple, grape. Blizzard howls and swirls. Visibility fades to white. Hidden world awaits. Lemon, blueberry, peach. Silent, vast expanse. Footsteps crunch on ancient snow. Alone yet alive. Pear, coconut, watermelon. Seals bask on the flow. Whales sing beneath the ice sheet. Life defies the cold. Apple, banana, orange. Midnight sun won't set. Days blend in endless twilight. Time loses its hold. Mango, cherry, kiwi. Station lights glow warm. Science probes the planet's past. Human spark survives. Pineapple, grape, lemon. Frost on every lash. Breath clouds form in crystal air. Purity profound. Strawberry, peach, blueberry. Leaving this pure land. Memories of ice remain, forever transformed. Massive nuclear fusion reactor, 93 million miles away, sends its energy here in just 8 minutes, perfectly tuned so life explodes instead of us floating as a frozen, dark rock. We're in the ultimate Goldilocks zone, not too close to fry, not too far to freeze. Cosmic jackpot. Here's why it's straight up magical in everything it gifts us. The engine of life. Sunlight powers photosynthesis. Plants and algae soak it up, turn CO2 and water into sugars, aka our food, and pump out oxygen we breathe. Nearly every bite you eat and every breath you take traces back to sunshine. No sun equals no forests, no burgers, no us. Climate and weather wizard. It heats the planet unevenly, creating winds, ocean currents, rain, the water cycle, and seasons. 1 hour of sunlight landing on Earth carries enough energy to power all of humanity for an entire year. Talk about renewable abundance. Health, happiness, and beauty. Triggers vitamin D for strong bones and immune systems. Boosts serotonin so sunny days literally make us happier. And the visuals? Epic sunrises, golden sunsets, rainbows, the way light sparkles on snow or water. Pure art every day. Future power source. We harness it directly with solar panels for clean electricity. Fossil fuels are basically ancient trapped sunlight too. Even in extreme spots like Antarctica, from our haiku chats, it pulls wild stunts like the midnight sun, 24-hour daylight in summer that keeps ecosystems buzzing. The sun doesn't just shine, it gifts existence, energy, color, warmth, and wonder to every living thing. It's been reliably doing this for 4.6 billion years and has billions more to go. We're solar-powered beings living on a sun-kissed planet, mind officially blown. What's your favorite way the sun shows up in your life? Beach days, garden veggies, epic sunsets, or something else? Shining on Earth is one of the most insanely cool things in the entire universe. That massive nuclear fusion. Fusion mechanics are the ultimate cosmic power plant, the process that has kept the sun shining steadily for 4.6 billion years and will continue for billions more. This is what ultimately delivers the light, warmth, and energy that powers life on Earth. Core conditions, nature's extreme pressure cooker. Deep in the sun's core, about 25% of its radius, gravity from the sun's enormous mass, 333,000 Earths, crushes hydrogen plasma to insane densities, a pound 150 times water, and temperatures around 15 million degrees Celsius, 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, with pressure upon 250 billion times Earth's atmosphere. These conditions force positively charged protons, hydrogen nuclei, close enough that the strong nuclear force can bind them, despite their electrostatic repulsion. Quantum tunneling gives protons a tiny probability of leaking through the Coulomb barrier. That's why fusion happens slowly enough for the sun to be a stable, long-lived star instead of an instant bomb. The dominant process, proton-proton, PP chain. For a star the sun's size and temperature, the proton-proton chain produces 99% of the energy. Here's the step-by-step reaction. Net result: 4 hydrogen
We're heading into an orbital sunset.
cosmic rhyme, all things entwine. Stars are just atoms on a grander design. Fusion in the sun, protons in your vein. Same dance of forces, same wild refrain. Electrons whirl like planets round their sun. Galaxies spin where the rivers run. A leaf's vein mirrors the lightning spark. Fractals repeat from the smallest quark. Waves in the ocean echo light in the sky. Your heartbeat pulses as the tides reply. Energy flows from the core to the bloom. Nothing stands separate, all shares the same room. Birth, growth, decay, cycles never cease. A star explodes so new worlds find peace. You're made of stardust, the sun's ancient fire. Everything echoes, lifts higher and higher. The reason is simple, the pattern is clear. One law binds the far to the near. Gravity pulls, entropy plays its game, but unity whispers, it's all the same flame. So breathe in the truth, feel the rhythm inside. Everything is connected, no place to hide. From fusion to friendship, from quark to the sea, everything's like everything, eternally free.